Good morning, everybody. This is Todd with the Forex Nitty Gritty Insiders Daily Video. Hope you had a great weekend. First of the week here again, and the market is off and running already. We haven't had huge moves, but still seeing some good movements along the way. What we're going to do today is we're going to spend just a few minutes reviewing what is happening on the daily charts of the major currency pairs, just to get an idea of what's happening and where there may be some areas of opportunity in relationship to identifying the trend and identifying support and resistance. Now, the most important thing when we're looking at trading the simple trading method is to be able to identify where that trend is going, because what happens is if the trend is in a nice deliberate uptrend, then we have the ability to look for those times where the market is going to be most likely to want to move in our direction or the direction that we're looking to trade. And if we can use that momentum and that directional bias, so to speak, of the market, then it doesn't matter if we get in at the perfect time, because we're getting in when the market is moving back in the direction that we want it to. So the rules state that the trend needs to be up. We need to pull back towards an area of support in an uptrend and resistance in a downtrend, and then move above the highest high of the last three or the lowest low of the last three, depending upon the direction that it's wanting to move. So as we look at the longer term charts, we get longer term information. Now we can trade the simple trading method on the daily chart or the hourly chart or the 1 minute chart, whatever we choose. But the daily chart really gives us the long term direction or the long term movement that we need to be taking into consideration regardless of the time that we're trading. So for example, let's say that the long-term trend is moving down sharply. Well, as we move down to the hourly charts or the daily charts, looking to take that momentum and work it into our favor is really what's going to help us maximize our potential opportunities for success. Now, if it's in a strong downtrend and we're trading shorter term and trying to buy against that, well, the market's going to be likely to push that back in our face, so to speak, and move against us. And so we want to be careful that we don't forget about those longer term movements. Now, this chart here is the Euro US dollar. And if we were to look at identifying some areas of support or resistance, we'd want to take into consideration a couple of levels that are probably the most significant or the most relevant to what we're doing right now. And I would put those areas here, and it's kind of been chopping in between these areas. We really are still in a longer term uptrend, just as if we look at the direction that this line is going, and I'm going to make it as straight as possible here. We haven't broken below that. And so this area of support is really going to be key. If it breaks below here, then this trend that we've been seeing is really now evaporated. It's no longer valid. We've made a lower high. We didn't make a lower low. So if this trend is going to continue to move up, we need to see it move above that level there. So a couple things to consider here on the Euro US dollar in relationship to its trend and support and resistance. Overall, we're probably a little more bullish than we are bearish on this until it shows evidence that the bulls or the bears have come back in and the bulls are gone. We're going to stick with that thought. Next, Aussie US dollar. Here we've got really probably the most significant thing here is this area that it's sitting on, trying to bounce up off of right now with the support here. We really made kind of a double top here and just kind of have gone sideways here, although the range is pretty good. because we're sitting at support, there's two things that we're going to look for. If this starts to bounce and move back up, we're going to have some opportunities to go long. If it breaks below here, we're going to have some opportunities to go short. So we're going to keep an eye on this level, this support level right now, as kind of the key area for whether or not we're going to be looking to go long or short at this time. The U.S. Swiss franc is going to be opposite of the Euro U.S. dollar. We won't spend a lot of time watching that, but that's going to be the opposite of the Euro dollar. Pound dollar, nice little uptrend that is pulling back towards an area of support. So we do have kind of a flag pattern. So a break up above there would be what we need to see in order to resume the trend, the momentum that we're looking at. And so that's really what we want to focus in on, is identifying these levels where the market is going to have the best ability, best opportunity to move in the direction that we want it to. Now let's take a look here at the US Japanese yen. Flat. It's really the key here, is that it's just kind of moving sideways, and until we get breakouts of our resistance or support, we're not going to probably see a lot of good trending opportunities. US CAD. This is where we can look at some price patterns here. Looking for a break to the upside or a break to the downside, in order to say that the trend has resumed and we're seeing it start to move back in one direction or the other. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on that. And so that's kind of what's happening on the daily charts. You know, we see that market is kind of at a point on most of these where it's trying to decide exactly what it wants to do. So take some time to review that. Make sure you're understanding what you're seeing there on those longer term charts, and use that to your advantage on the shorter term ones. So until then, next time we will be back tomorrow. Have a great rest of the day, and we will talk to you soon.